Hello, I'm Richard Ridge for Broadway World. Eddie Izzard is back on the New York stage, currently through March 10th, playing 23 characters in Shakespeare's Hamlet, which has been adapted by Mark Izzard and directed by Selina Cadell. And I caught up with all three of them here at the Greenwich House Theater. You play 23 characters in this piece, I believe, right? That's
Yes, probably about 8 main characters, 7 or 8 main characters, and then it goes down to a small page boy and a sailor turns up in one scene, one of the pirates, and so some of them are just one-liners, but the main is about 8 to 10.
You love being on stage by yourself, right?
I do actually like being on stage by myself. It's the punishment for having an ego and saying, can you give me a role? Your third spear carrier. Oh, third, not even second spear carrier. And pushing. And some people, they get on stage on their own. Quite often it would be a stand-up comedian, could be a singer, and they find it kind of lonely. I don't find it lonely up there. I don't find the touring lonely. I don't know, maybe I've got a host of characters in my head, or I have a communion with the audience. But I am very happy to be up there and to take this technique, which was, as people may know, developed in Great Expectations, playing Pip and Miss Havisham and Magwitch, and bringing all those characters to life and changing the physicality, changing the voice, changing, just like in the play within the play. Well, the Rogue and Peasant slave speech, Hamlet talks about the player king who seems to be able to change his body and his physique and his mind, and that's what we as actors are doing. That's what I really have to do on stage, and really pull Ophelia from Gertrude and Claudius from Hamlet, from Horatio, from Laertes, and Horatio and Hamlet and Laertes are all probably on a similar level of sound. They would be. I mean, I'm playing them as sort of posher end of English, but they would have been posher end of Denmark, and so, but they would have sounded in a similar era. But then you have to change their characteristics so that people can say, I can see who it is, and I can see who's playing and who's talking to the next person. And I also assume the intelligence and the imagination of the audience, and they will paint in the details. For if you can see the stage behind us, it is a bare but imaginative stage, twisted at an angle, which initially I thought, Tom, what are you doing? I thought, oh, no, I kind of like this. It's the time is out of joint. The stage is out of joint. And so I'm going to go up there and explore and play. And if someone came on the first day and someone comes on the last day, it will have moved. Hopefully just improved. And Selina really helps me take through the arcs, the emotions, the underpinning of everything, particularly because it's so many, you have to have the arcs of so many characters. It's about 8 main characters and how they interplay and move along as you're going through the play.
It's all at once the most wonderful thing, and also incredibly difficult, challenging and exciting. I mean, because it's a crazy notion, but it's perfectly feasible to have one person be 23 people. Yeah. Because if you get the words right and you understand the characters, the characterization is in the language, and if someone like Eddie can evolve physically, and with our brilliant movement director, Dee Hopkins, that is what she does. She molds herself in these different ways, and the characterization has to come through the language, though. It's not about imposed. Yeah. Nobody would understand if it was imposed from above, which is what I'm afraid quite a lot of Shakespeare productions can lean towards. It's an obvious thing these days when people aren't really that used to Shakespeare, in the way that when Shakespeare was writing, it was everybody heard everything. There wasn't a technology where we could press a button and just see it. Or, it was the word, the written word and the spoken word was the medium. So that is the challenge, and that is the exciting challenge.
Yeah. Collaborating with Eddie is something that I've worked up to over a number of years on his comedy shows when he's been doing them in foreign languages. For this collaboration, I think over the most recent months, he's been collaborating especially with the director Selina and the movement coach Dee Hopkins. So the way we work together at the moment, obviously there's a script to be learnt. I mean, most actors playing Hamlet balk at the idea of learning all those lines, but in addition to that, Eddie has to go on and learn all the other characters' lines. So I suppose my speciality, or my role within the team, is to kind of work with Eddie to kind of tighten the script in terms of line learning to the point where she's really confident when she goes out on stage that she knows exactly what she's going to say for each character.
Yeah. Finally, what's the last thing you do before you hit the stage, before a performance?
I stop learning because there's line learning and get the lines perfect. Sometimes I get it so that one scene is perfect and then a word can drop off. And if I prefer not to ask for lines, and I can sometimes come off and get myself back onto the lines. But there's a thing that you can do before you come on, which is you think, oh God, I need to learn that bit. That's not very good. Or I need to look at those lines again. And that will lead to panic. Because it is crazy, 13 to 15,000 words. And I was doing this in Great Expectations, so I thought, this is too many words to have in your brain. If you go there, you are dead. It's a bit like driving a car. If you think mirror signal maneuver, can I think, and there's other cars. If you ever really think about what you're doing, it's kind of crazy. So it's best not to go there and just to live in the car and do it and smoothly, and you will be okay. If you overthink, if you think too precisely on the event, which is what Hamlet does, it all slows down and gets a bit stuck. So before I go, and I just switch everything off and make sure my head is already on stage, and also look forward to being on stage. If you're a performer and you don't look forward to being on stage, I mean, Olivier started getting the fear of the lines going towards the end, and other actors have talked about this. I know that's a dangerous place to go to, but if you look forward to being on the stage, like I want to go out there, and right at the moment, I haven't quite looked forward to going on stage because there's such a weight that I have to take with me, but it's getting there. It's getting to the place, 7 previews we've had now, it's getting to the place where I go, okay, this scene, I love this scene. And that's just at the back of your head while the whole scene is traveling around or traveling past. And so you must look forward to being on stage. And then that will transfer into being inside the characters. I did notice, was it 1 or 2 performances ago? I think it was yesterday, actually. I suddenly thought, there's people here as well. I actually forgot that people were here, which is a good place to be. That's where you want to be. So you're going out there, and they're watching you rather than you knowing that they're watching you. You're just there doing something, and it doesn't matter if the audience is there. You're just living, bringing the characters to life for yourself. And, there's people watching as well.